Introduction. Have you ever noticed how much power your face carries, even before you say a single word? Most of us believe that inspiration comes through grand speeches, heroic actions, or remarkable achievements. And while those things matter, there's a quieter truth. Sometimes the most profound inspiration is written silently across the face we present to the world. Think about it, your face is more than just features, more than skin and bone. It's a mirror of the soul. It reflects your inner peace, your hidden worries, your compassion, and even the wisdom you've gathered from walking through life. Long before your words reach another person, your expression already speaks to their heart. A gentle smile can soften walls. A calm gaze can comfort someone in pain. The way you show up, moment by moment, leaves an imprint far deeper than you might imagine. I remember once meeting a stranger in a crowded station. We didn't exchange words, yet the serenity in his face, calm eyes, a soft half-smile, shifted something in me. It was as if he was carrying a quiet light that said, "Everything will be okay." That moment taught me that inspiration doesn't always roar, sometimes it whispers through presence. And maybe you've experienced this too. Maybe there's someone whose face comes to mind right now, the way they looked at you with kindness, the way their expression gave you strength at a difficult time. Isn't it true that such moments linger far longer than speeches or advice? Today, I want to invite you on a journey into this often overlooked truth, the art of inspiring through your face. We'll explore 10 dimensions of this simple yet extraordinary path, how your smile, your gaze, even the calm lines of your forehead can become gifts to the world. It's not about perfection, but about authenticity, mindfulness, and compassion radiating outward. Because in the end, your face is not just your own, it's a doorway. A doorway through which peace, kindness, and wisdom can flow into the lives of others. And once you see this clearly, you'll realize, you already hold a powerful source of inspiration, right where you are, in the face you carry every single day. The mindful smile. Have you ever noticed how powerful a simple smile can be, not the forced smile you put on for a photo, but a gentle smile born from a place of calm awareness? A mindful smile, the kind that naturally arises when you take a deep breath and come home to yourself, has the ability to dissolve the storm clouds in someone else's heart. When you smile like this, you're not pretending, you're not masking your feelings. Instead, you're offering a small but genuine reminder, there is peace here, right now. Think about the last time someone smiled at you in that way. Maybe it was a stranger on the street, maybe it was a loved one across the table. Didn't it soften you instantly? Even for a brief moment, didn't the heaviness you were carrying seem lighter? I've had moments in my own life where a single smile changed the entire atmosphere of a day. I once walked into a meeting feeling overwhelmed, my mind racing. But then someone simply looked at me and smiled, calmly, without any agenda. That small gesture slowed me down, reminded me to breathe, and shifted the entire energy of the room. Isn't it incredible how something so small can be so transformative? A mindful smile is more than an expression, it's an energy. It tells others, I am here, I am at peace, and you are safe to be yourself. And the beauty is, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect mood to share it. You can practice right now. Take one deep breath in, feel your body settle, and let a gentle smile rise, not from effort, but from acceptance. Imagine if more of us carried this into our daily lives. Imagine walking into your home, your workplace, or even the grocery store, bringing with you a face that says, all is well. You never know whose burden you might lighten, whose day you might quietly transform. So I ask you, what if you let your smile become your gift to the world? Not a mask, not a performance, but a soft reminder of peace. A mindful smile doesn't just brighten your face, it becomes a gentle light that touches everyone who sees it. Eyes that see with compassion. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and I believe that's true. But more than that, the eyes can also be windows of compassion. When you truly look at someone with kindness, your gaze does more than just see their appearance. It says, I see you. I understand. You are not alone. Think about the last time someone looked at you with genuine warmth. It wasn't about admiration or judgment, it was simply a soft, caring acknowledgement of your humanity. Didn't it feel like an invisible embrace, as if their eyes themselves were holding you gently? That's the quiet power of compassionate vision. I remember once sitting across from a close friend who was going through a difficult season. I didn't have the right words to say. I wasn't sure what advice could help. So instead, I just sat there, present, looking at them with all the empathy I could hold. Later, they told me, you didn't say much, but your eyes told me everything I needed, that I wasn't broken, that I wasn't alone. Sometimes, presence through the eyes speaks louder than any speech. And this isn't just for moments of sorrow. Even in daily life, the way you look at people matters. A child who receives a look of encouragement grows more confident. A stranger who meets your gentle eyes feels safer in the world. Our gaze can either judge and close people off, or it can soften and open doors. Which do you think we need more of in today's world? The beautiful truth is, you don't have to be perfect to offer this kind of look. Compassion isn't about fixing someone. It's about meeting them where they are, with eyes that say, I accept you as you are. That kind of seeing creates space for healing, both for them and for you. So the next time you meet someone's eyes, pause for a moment. Can you let go of judgment and simply see them with compassion? Can you let your eyes be gentle enough to remind them of their worth? Remember, your gaze has the power to heal, to comfort, to inspire. Sometimes, a single compassionate look is all it takes to bring someone back to themselves. The forehead of ease. Have you ever noticed how much the forehead reveals about a person? A furrowed brow often speaks of worry, of stress carried silently, of thoughts that never seem to rest. But a smooth, relaxed forehead, it tells a different story. It reflects an inner state of ease, a quiet trust in life, a spirit that has learned to let go. I remember once standing in front of a mirror, after a long and exhausting week. My brow was tight, my face drawn, as if the weight of all my unfinished tasks had etched itself into my skin. In that moment, I realized, my face wasn't just reflecting my stress, it was amplifying it. And everyone who met me that week probably felt that tension radiating from me. But later, after taking time to breathe deeply, to sit quietly in stillness, I saw how my forehead softened. That small shift made me feel lighter, and those around me seemed more at ease as well. It's interesting, isn't it? We often think peace is something internal, invisible. Yet the body doesn't lie. When the mind rests, the forehead shines with a kind of gentle clarity. People can sense it, even without words. A relaxed face whispers, you don't have to rush. You don't have to fight. It's okay to rest. Think about someone you know who carries this presence. Maybe it's an elder whose face, lined with years, still radiates calm. Maybe it's a teacher or mentor whose steady gaze reassures you that all will be well. Their forehead doesn't carry the burden of worry, it carries the imprint of trust. Doesn't being around them make you breathe a little easier? So here's a question for you. What if your forehead could become a silent invitation to peace? What if every time someone looked at you, they felt reminded that serenity is possible, even in the middle of life's storms? We can't erase every wrinkle, and we shouldn't try to. Wrinkles can be beautiful too. But when we soften the tension, when we allow our face to reflect the ease of a quiet heart, we become living reminders of peace. And in a world so full of pressure, that might just be one of the greatest gifts we can offer. The face of presence. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person wasn't really there? Maybe their eyes were drifting, maybe their face seemed distracted, as if their mind had wandered off into 1,000 different worries. In moments like that, you can feel it, can't you? Their face tells you, without words, I'm not here. Now think about the opposite. Think about the rare times when someone is fully present with you, when they are not rushing ahead to the next thing, not replaying the past, but simply here, with you, in this exact moment. Their face radiates something different. It carries a calm steadiness, a quiet strength. Being in their presence feels grounding, like standing on solid earth after drifting on waves. I remember meeting a teacher once whose presence was so strong that even in silence, his face spoke volumes. He didn't need to say much, just by being there, fully there, he made everyone around him feel more alive, more anchored in the now. Isn't it striking how presence itself can be felt through the face, through the way someone looks at you, breathes with you, simply exists with you? The truth is, our faces reflect our state of mind. When we are lost in the past, regret shows up. When we are anxious about the future, tension shows up. But when we are rooted in the present moment, our face reflects ease, clarity, and strength. And the people around us can sense it immediately. So here's something worth asking yourself: what does your face communicate when you're with others? Does it say, "I'm half here, half somewhere else"? Or does it say, "I'm here, with you, right now"? The gift of presence isn't complicated. It begins with simple things: a deep breath, an attentive gaze, a willingness to put aside distractions. And when you do, your face naturally softens into one of steadiness and care. In a world where everyone is rushing, where so many are pulled away by screens and endless to-do lists, the face of presence becomes a rare treasure. And maybe that's the greatest inspiration you can offer: not fancy words, not perfect advice, but simply the silent strength of being here, fully, in this moment. The skin of authenticity. In today's world, we are constantly told that beauty lies in perfection, smooth skin, no wrinkles, no scars. But if you look deeply, you'll realize that real beauty doesn't come from flawless skin. It comes from authenticity. Every line, every mark, every natural texture on the skin tells a story. It whispers, "This life has been lived." Think about the wrinkles at the corner of someone's eyes. They don't just appear randomly. They are born from years of laughter, from countless smiles shared with others. A scar might tell the story of resilience, of a wound that healed. Even the uneven tones of skin remind us of the sun, of journeys, of experiences that shaped a person. Isn't that far more inspiring than a perfect mask? I once had a conversation with an elderly woman whose face carried decades of life. Her skin wasn't flawless, but it radiated something deeper: trustworthiness. When she spoke, you didn't just hear her words, you felt the credibility of a life fully lived. Her authenticity made it easy to open up, to feel safe, to believe in what she shared. And maybe you've felt it too. Have you ever noticed how a person with an unpolished face, one that carries honesty instead of perfection, draws you in more deeply? Their skin doesn't hide life, it reveals it. And in that revelation, we find connection. The truth is, authenticity creates trust. When your face shows up as it is, when your skin carries the story of your life without apology, people feel it. They sense that you're not pretending, not performing. You're real. And that realness awakens something inside them, the courage to also be real. So instead of fearing age or chasing flawless perfection, what if we honored the authenticity in our skin? What if we saw each wrinkle, each mark, not as flaws but as symbols of a journey? Imagine how freeing it would be to live without the pressure of hiding who we are, and instead let our face become a map of truth, a silent source of inspiration. Because in the end, a truthful face is unforgettable. And maybe that's the kind of beauty the world needs most. The expression of listening. Have you ever noticed the difference between someone who's truly listening and someone who's just hearing? It's subtle, but it's powerful. A face that listens with the heart becomes a warm, inviting space. It tells the other person, "You matter. I see you. I respect you." And in that moment, trust begins to grow. I remember a conversation with a friend who was going through a tough time. She started speaking, hesitating at first, unsure if anyone could really understand. I didn't offer advice. I didn't interrupt. I simply focused on listening, not just with my ears, but with my whole presence. Slowly, I saw her shoulders relax, her voice find steadiness, and a sense of relief settle over her. Just by being fully present, my face became a mirror of acceptance and care. Listening this way transforms both people. The speaker feels safe, heard, and validated. And the listener, through this conscious presence, cultivates empathy and patience. Our faces reflect what our hearts are doing. When we listen with full attention, our eyes, our gentle nods, our soft expressions become a language of care that words often cannot convey. Consider the last time you truly felt heard. Remember how it shifted something inside you. That's the power of a listening face. It's an unspoken gift, one that nurtures confidence and courage. And the beauty is that it doesn't require perfection, just intention. A simple gaze, a slight smile, or a quiet nod can make someone feel profoundly valued. So ask yourself, how often do you let your face really listen? How often do you allow your presence to be fully with another person, free from distraction or judgment? When you do, your face becomes more than a reflection, it becomes a sanctuary. A sanctuary where others feel safe to unfold their truth. In a world filled with noise and rushed conversations, the expression of genuine listening is rare and precious. And yet, it's one of the most powerful ways we can inspire, connect, and remind others that they are seen, heard, and valued. The non-judging face. Have you ever felt the weight of someone's judgment just by looking at them? A raised eyebrow, a tight-lipped expression, or a fleeting look of disapproval can make even the strongest among us shrink back. Now, imagine the opposite, a face that carries no judgment at all. A gentle, open expression that doesn't criticize, doesn't condemn, simply allows you to exist fully as you are. This is the power of a non-judging face. It's subtle, almost invisible, yet transformative. When we meet someone with such a presence, it gives permission to drop defenses, to be authentic, to step out of shame or self-consciousness. Their face whispers, "You are enough. You are safe here." And sometimes, that silent encouragement can be far more impactful than 1,000 words of reassurance. I remember a moment when I was struggling to share a personal story with a close friend. As I spoke, I noticed their face soft, calm, completely free from judgment. I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. For the first time, I could speak honestly, without fear of being misunderstood or ridiculed. That experience taught me that inspiration doesn't always need to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it lives quietly in the absence of judgment. The truth is, our faces can either build walls or open doors. When we carry judgment, even unconsciously, people sense it immediately, and they withdraw. But when we soften, when our face reflects acceptance rather than criticism, we create space for connection, growth, and trust. Ask yourself, how often do you meet others without judgment, even in passing interactions or brief conversations? How would it change someone's day if your expression said, "I see you, just as you are"? A non-judging face is a gift. It doesn't cost a thing, yet it can transform lives. In a world where criticism is all too common, this simple, gentle presence is a quiet revolution. By choosing acceptance over evaluation, your face becomes a sanctuary, a place where others can breathe, unfold, and remember their worth. Calmness in adversity. Life is unpredictable. Storms come, sometimes quietly, sometimes violently, and they test our patience, our courage, and our peace of mind. Yet, in the middle of these challenges, there is something extraordinary about a face that remains calm, a face that reflects clarity and steadiness even when chaos surrounds it. That face becomes a lighthouse, guiding others who may be lost in their own turmoil. Think about someone you've known who seemed unshaken by life's difficulties. Perhaps it was a mentor, a parent, or even a friend. When you looked at them, you felt steadier yourself. Their calm presence was contagious. You didn't need them to give advice or solve problems. Just their face, serene and composed, gave you the courage to breathe, to pause, to trust that you too could navigate the storm. I remember once visiting a friend who had faced unexpected loss. When I arrived, I expected sadness to dominate the room. But instead, I was met with a calm, gentle face that radiated quiet strength. That simple presence made all the difference. It wasn't about denying pain, it was about showing that peace could exist alongside adversity. I left that day feeling inspired, reminded that even in the hardest moments, stability and clarity are possible. Our faces have this power. They reflect what is inside us, and they influence what others feel. When we cultivate inner calm, even amid challenges, our face conveys resilience, hope, and reassurance. People sense it immediately, often before words are spoken. In that moment, our presence itself becomes a guide, a beacon for others who may be struggling. So, the question is, how do we cultivate this calmness? It starts with mindfulness, with breathing, with choosing not to let fear or frustration dominate our expressions. Over time, a steady, serene face becomes a gift, not just for ourselves, but for everyone we encounter. And in a world full of uncertainty, perhaps this quiet strength is one of the most powerful ways we can inspire others. The face of gratitude. Gratitude is more than a feeling, it's a presence that shows itself in the smallest details of our expression. Every gentle curve of a smile, every softening of the eyes, every subtle lift of the cheeks can radiate the warmth of appreciation. A face nourished by gratitude doesn't just reflect happiness, it spreads it, quietly, subtly, yet powerfully. Think about someone you've met whose presence feels joyful simply because they notice life's simple blessings. Perhaps it's in the way they greet you, the way they pause to listen, or the way their eyes light up at small acts of kindness. You can feel it immediately. That face teaches, without words, how to value each moment. You find yourself smiling more, noticing the beauty around you, appreciating life in ways you might otherwise overlook. I remember a moment when I met an elderly neighbor who had endured many hardships, yet her face always carried a serene, grateful expression. She didn't need to tell me her story. Her face alone shared it. In that expression, I could sense someone who recognized the gift in each day: sunlight on the street, laughter of children, a warm cup of tea. Being around her, I too felt a shift. I was reminded to look for the small wonders, to allow gratitude to transform my own perspective. A face of gratitude also has the power to inspire. When we express genuine thankfulness, people feel encouraged to do the same. It's contagious, but not in a loud way. It's a quiet ripple that moves through the spaces we share, turning ordinary moments into opportunities for joy and connection. So here's a reflection. How often does your face carry gratitude? When you wake up, when you meet others, when you pause in the day, can you let your expression reflect appreciation for even the smallest blessings? A mindful, grateful face doesn't just make you feel lighter, it invites others to feel it too, reminding us all to treasure the present moment. In the end, gratitude isn't something we keep to ourselves. It shows in our eyes, our smile, our demeanor. And through this simple, everyday practice, we can touch hearts, transform spaces, and inspire others to see life with the same wonder and appreciation. The selfless face. Have you ever noticed how the smallest version of ourselves, the ego, can dominate our expressions? Tension in the jaw, tight lips, or guarded eyes often reflect the need to protect, to assert, to control. Yet when we let go of this limited self, when we release the grip of our ego, something remarkable happens. Our face opens up. It becomes luminous, reflective, almost like a mirror that doesn't belong to any one person, but reflects the vastness of life itself. A selfless face is not about emptiness, it's about expansiveness. It carries the quiet power of love without attachment, of compassion without expectation. It's the kind of face that instantly makes people feel safe, seen, and connected. When you look at someone like this, you don't just see an individual, you sense a presence that embodies the flow of life, the generosity of spirit, the deep interconnection of all beings. I remember sitting in meditation with a teacher who embodied this quality. His face was calm, radiant, and completely free from self-interest. There was no pretense, no need to impress. And yet, his presence was magnetic. Simply being in his gaze, I felt a subtle shift, a softening of my own defenses, a sense of unity and openness. That experience taught me that letting go of the ego doesn't diminish us, it reveals the truest, most luminous part of who we are. Think about the faces you encounter every day. How often do they carry tension, comparison, or judgment? And how different would the world feel if more faces reflected selflessness, openness, and boundless care? A face that has released the small self becomes a beacon. It reminds others that love, generosity, and compassion are always available when we stop holding back. The selfless face is the culmination of all the qualities we've explored: presence, gratitude, calmness, authenticity, and compassion. It is the face of life itself, unbound, radiant, and inspiring. And perhaps the most profound truth is this: when we cultivate this openness within ourselves, our face silently teaches, heals, and uplifts, touching countless hearts without a single word. In the end, the face of selflessness is more than an expression, it's a doorway to awakening, a living reflection of the infinite love that flows through every being. Conclusion: the face as a mirror of the soul. Dear friends, our face is more than a reflection in the mirror, it is a mirror of the soul. When our mind is clear, our face radiates gentleness. When our heart is at peace, our expression becomes bright and welcoming. When our spirit is filled with compassion, our face transforms into a place of refuge, a silent sanctuary where others can feel understood, safe, and seen. Inspiration doesn't always come from grand gestures, loud words, or distant achievements. Often, it lives quietly in the way we show up each day, through a smile, a glance, a nod, a presence that says, "I see you. I honor you. You matter." Think about the people who have touched your life not with their accomplishments, but simply with how they made you feel seen and cared for. That is the subtle power of the face. If you want to give the world a gift, start with your own face. Let it carry warmth, patience, and understanding. Let it reflect joy even in ordinary moments, a willingness to listen, a readiness to be present, and a capacity to love without reservation. When your face embodies these qualities, it becomes more than a reflection of yourself, it becomes a source of infinite inspiration for everyone around you. Imagine walking through your day knowing that every interaction, no matter how small, is an opportunity to offer kindness, encouragement, and presence simply through your expression. Each smile, each attentive look, each gesture of openness can ripple far beyond what you see, touching hearts in ways you may never realize. So let your face be a gift. Let it be a mirror of clarity, peace, and love. Let it be a light that others can follow. Because when we cultivate the beauty of the soul on our face, we don't just inspire, we transform our surroundings, one look, one smile, one presence at a time. In the end, the greatest legacy we can leave is not in what we say or achieve, but in how we show up. And the simplest, most profound way to do this is through the face we present to the world, a face that smiles, listens, is present, and loves. In that, we become an endless source of inspiration.